baiting it up, and casting it long. It's the T.A. Mahoney Real Animals Fishing Show on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
We got a good team in downtown Tampa, playing hockey and kicking major ass. We got a good team.
Maybe I shouldn't play the chorus. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
It's all good. It's all good, my friend. We have such talented people here in the building that put these things together for us.
No, believe it or not, this is one of our listeners.
Oh, really?
This is, we've got a listener, Greg. He calls himself Greggy Weggy, like he watches on the stream a lot. And he has sent us several different like song parody type things that he's made over the time, and he's one of our listeners.
Talented guy. That's
he did
great.
He did this little ditty for like a rejoin for our show. He's a talented guy.
Yeah, talented guy.
Hey, he's playing all this himself.
That's crazy.
Good afternoon,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's one of our listeners.
I love it.
We do have some talented people in the building.
We do. We do have talented people in the building and talented listeners too, apparently.
Yeah.
Want to put a shout out to our good friends over at Butler and Boyd. You know, they're attorneys who specialize in personal injury and wrongful death with over 43 years of trial experience. You can learn more about Butler and Boyd at butlerboyd.com or give them a call today at 813-229-3232. They've been supporting the real animals and the fishing community here in Tampa Bay for a long time. So I highly suggest, if you are in the market for a personal injury or wrongful death attorney, look no further than our good friends at Butler and Boyd.
You know, we changed from 42 to 43 a while ago. I might better check the website. It might be 44.
It might be. They're super talented, super talented. Let's go to the phones here quick. Check in with my good friend from down in Pine Island, Dave Legier. David, how are you this morning?
Good morning, brother. How are you? Glad to see somebody else is working this morning.
Oh yeah, buddy. We're grinding. My boys are on the softball field. I was taking some heat because I couldn't make the games this weekend, but I played last weekend, and this weekend's games were at the same time, so I had to be in here in the studio doing what we do. So what's going on down in beautiful Pine Island? How's your water down there, Dave? I mean, we talk about water quality here in Tampa Bay. We don't get enough calls from down that way anymore. I hear good things. The times I've fished down there in Pine Island, down there by South Seas with the Aussies and Nick Fisher and all them, it's been fantastic. I mean, is everything really turning up? Are you seeing a positive wave in the water quality?
Yeah, I think it's improving, brother. A lot of this is going to be depending upon how much rain we get, and we haven't had a lot, in my opinion, versus other years. So I think that's helping, keep the issue a little bit under control till we can get some of this water flow issues addressed finally. But, we've had some good positive results from the efforts from Captains for Clean Water and other conservation groups to help keep the government in check on some of this insanity that we've been dealing with. So, I think it will improve as time goes along. We got to keep the course. That's what we have to do.
I've got a podcast scheduled for this week with Chris himself down there with Captains for Clean Water to kind of get some updates on all the good work that they've been doing and kind of let the people know where we're at, what they need, all that good stuff. So looking forward to getting an update from him later this week and then getting that podcast launched. So you do some podcasts. Oh,
yeah, that's awesome. I just send you my script because I've been working on one for them also. So
yeah,
I just some questions.
Yeah, I've actually got some really good guests this week coming up. I'm going to get to interview Tom Rowland as well from Saltwater Experience. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. Captain Mike Goodwine's going to do one with me. I'm trying to get Ryan Rickard pinned down after his big redfish tournament win last year. So should be a good week for the podcast. How are things going with your podcast, my friend?
Good. I've got surprisingly probably about 20 in process. Matter of fact, I had to start an Excel spreadsheet to keep track of them all. So no, things are going great.
Tell all my listeners how they can find your podcast.
Real simple. All they need to do is go to flatsnation.com. The new site's up and running. It's been doing very well. Really pleased with it, and did a little bit of programming on the podcast side. So now they will even stream straight from your phone.
Oh,
so
nice.
That really comes in handy.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was really kind of surprised with that. I did some diving into the metrics of our visitors, and surprisingly, by a wide margin, the majority of our visitors are on a mobile device.
Yeah.
All that time I spent programming it for your phone and things of that nature worked well.
Yeah.
Worked well.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt. Yep. Good stuff.
I've been hearing about the issues that y'all have been having up here in Fort DeSoto with the effects of the chemical spill and things of that nature. And, Brother Barkley and I were talking about this probably a couple of weeks ago. I came across an idea that you might want to try because of, I have a suspect that sea trout don't move around a lot. And I think that may be adding to some of the pain since that area basically got burned off.
100%. Yeah.
Had an idea that maybe you guys need to, as you're catching some larger trout in other areas, just keep them in the live well. And when you get back to near the ramp at Fort DeSoto, just set them free out there.
Right. Little relocation program.
Well, sure. Think of it like an ambulance. You're just going to take them to a different ER room and
right.
set them free. Because you and I both know those trout breed like rabbits if you give them half a chance.
They sure do, yeah.
But they've got to have the groceries.
Grass in that area.
Well, Ben just lit up on that exact thing. That's the problem. The problem is obviously we lost a lot of fish. So that part is huge. The beauty is, especially having the opportunity to fish an area like Charlotte Harbor, like I have, where they were smart enough to keep everything closed a little bit longer, and I've seen some of the recovery. Ozzie Lessinger and I actually filmed a show that's going to air here in a couple of weeks where we caught redfish on artificial on every single shoreline and every single bar we fished for an entire day. Now, we didn't catch 30 redfish, but we caught a redfish or two on every shoreline, along with a couple of snook, along with a couple of trout, and you could see and feel the recovery. The grass looked better. Everything just looked better. So I believe that, keeping it closed obviously, would have been a big key to the return of the fish to the Fort DeSoto, Pinellas Point area. But the bad part is that the grass is just gone. I mean, they just, like you said,
really?
when you said it got burned, I thought to myself, that's the perfect word, because when you drift across those flats now and you don't see any healthy grass, it looks like it got burned. It looked like a fire that you see up in the woods somewhere where everything just got torched.
Well, it snuck up the bay too. I mean, Culbreth,
exactly.
and all those areas, the grass, it hopefully it will rebound, because I've seen it rebound before.
Yeah, I think it will too. I just think that even though I think the fish will rebound if we can, good Lord, stay out of our own way and Mother Nature doesn't kick us in the teeth, I think it'll rebound. The problem is how do those fish adapt to an area that no longer has the habitat they need for the bait to be there for them to survive and stay in those areas?
I thought Tampa Bay Watch, though, was working on getting some of the turtle grass stuff replanted.
Tampa Bay Watch.
I mean, is that
Tampa Bay Watch is Tampa Bay Watch is absolutely a phenomenal organization that works their tail off on our waters. The problem is we, like you said perfectly, we torched it. I mean, our own government torched it. I mean, there is just areas where we just don't have. I mean, Pinellas Point is terrible. Now, I can hear some of the guys that are fishing there. Oh, I'm catching fish over there. I hear you, bro. I've been fishing there every week for 10 years now. I promise you, we don't have the fish we normally had. Jamie Goodwin, Rob Gorda, those of us that have been running out of O'Neill's for a long time now will tell you, yeah, I can catch you some fish over there. I know they're not all gone, but it is nowhere near what it should be. Nowhere near. I mean, you used to be able to drift the flats. Ben knows this as well as anybody. You used to be able to drift the flats at Fort DeSoto out between Tarpon Key and Cow and Calf and drift the flats and Dave blindfolded with a little white paddle tail and catch 100 trout easy.
That's right.
with people that had
myself.
never been on the water.
I did it every trip, waiting for the water to come up so I could go into Tarpon Key and catch redfish.
And flip them off with a D hooker, never touch them. All day long you could catch those fish. And there was the flats on the other side of Tarpon Key going towards Conception. You could do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the clam bar, out in front of the clam bar, you could
7A flat.
Yes, they're gone. They're not there.
Well, maybe we need to have Blair to start dumping some clams out there.
Well, that wouldn't hurt. The great Blair Wiggins and his clam project. That would not hurt us one bit. Yeah, that would not hurt. So, I mean, I think it's just stuff that, you know, it doesn't seem to be on anyone's radar. Nobody's really talking about it. I don't know if it's because the government did it, and just like everything the government does, we just kind of turn away and nobody, you know, tries to. I don't know. It's so frustrating that we did this to ourselves. It's mind blowing to me. You know, it just.
Well, you got to have the habitat. You and I both know that.
Sure, it's huge.
So if there is a certain amount of turtle grass still in the area, you know, it will recover. Of course, you and I both know that turtle grass. What is this? For 7 years, it takes for a prop scar to come back.
Yeah.
That takes a long time.
Yeah, long time.
A long time.
And
So,
I'm getting old. I don't have that much time.
Well, I'm older, brother, so I get it. But I just came across that idea thinking, you know, if you catch a few trout, just take them and release them there. Give them a chance to help get back in the area.
I think it's a great idea. I wonder what your release survival rate would be.
It's still about the groceries.
Well,
you know, I'm a big, healthy guy and a foodie and just love good food. You know, some people eat to live. Some of us live to eat. But you relocate me to Ethiopia, and I'm going to have a tough time.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Well, this is true. That's the reason why I was curious as to what the level of seagrass was still in the area and what is the condition of the seagrass that is present.
Yeah,
I haven't been up there for a little while.
And Scott Moore says the simplest thing: fish are going to be where the groceries are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're going to be where the groceries are.
Predator-prey relationship.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's why the bite's been so much better on the South Shore, cockroach, all that stuff. Even though they dumped over there at Piney Point, the fishing's just better over there because the grass is in better shape than that stuff over at Piney Point and Fort
It's
Sutter.
amazing too with trout. A lot of people would be surprised how many crabs they eat. I mean, you find those little baby crabs, stone crabs, blue crabs. Yeah,
be expected.
Yeah. That's a great call.
Maybe we need to get with FWC. You know, they're working on redoing redfish and dividing it up into smaller areas. Maybe the effort needs to be turned around to trout also. And certain areas just need to be flat out closed, period.
I agree. I'm still stone cold shocked that they opened Tampa Bay or didn't leave it, you know, reclose it, whatever they needed to do after the Piney Point debacle. I'm just shocked that we left it.
Well, the fact that they opened up commercial take on sea trout years ago. You and I have talked about that in the past. Give them a rest.
Yeah, some of the stuff we do just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. I don't get it. Dave Lachir, my good friend there.
Logic.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Flatsnation.com, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's the one. Check it out.
We have your podcast up there, which was a great one. It's been very well received. You and I had a good time on that.
Absolutely. And you do a great interview. So those are podcasts that I know I just had somebody on the live feed ask me about when the Real Animals podcast. See, we're going to get some new ones. And so I've got some podcasters that listen. Definitely want to check out my good friend Dave Lachir, great interviewer, great guy, great friend of the fishing community. Keep up all the good work over there and stay in touch with us, bro. It's a great call. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
I could use the updates.
We'll have you back on real soon.
Okay, and we could use the updates if you were up and about on a Sunday morning and Saturday morning, calling in and give us some updates down there in Pine Island. It'd be great.
I'll be more than happy to as I'm sitting here working on more podcast scripts.
Perfect. We appreciate you, brother. Have a great day.
Thank you, brother.
All right, pal.
You guys have a good one.
Yeah, buddy. You too.
I got to spend a little time down there. I want to talk about with Jim Huddleston as my captain.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
We went all the way to the east side of Bokeelia, which is the north end of Pine Island.
Yeah.
Got to see some. It's a lot of fun to go with the captain, especially in a different area like that, and just pay attention and learn some good stuff. So we'll talk about that on the other side.
I like it. 1-888-546-4620. Phone lines are open. Questions, comments, fishing reports. Bring them right here. We'll be back.
Captain, if there's any trouble, I'm going to kick butt and then stack them 10 high.
hope you enjoyed our show today and found it both educational and entertaining at the same time. If you or your company would like to join the team on Flats Nation for a podcast or other coverage, feel free to drop us a quick note at info@flatsnation.com. And now, here's the rest of the song to run the skiff back home with. Tight lines and God bless.